Hello, friends, and thank you so much for purchasing the Calculate It spreadsheet. And this spreadsheet is one of my favorite, absolute all-time favorite tools that I use. It took me some years to develop this thing. Over the years, it's taken many forms. But at the end of the day, I'm a very enterprising person, and I'm always coming up with these ideas, and I need to make sure that my ideas are viable before I even start putting any thoughts or any efforts into it. I need to make sure that it can make financial sense. So this is the spreadsheet that I use to calculate my business ideas. And so first, let's take a look at this spreadsheet. Before I even go into the information that you're going to put in and what you're going to need, let's talk about what it's actually going to kick back out to you. The most important thing that it's going to kick back out to you are these numbers down here at the bottom. These numbers down here at the bottom. This profit margin number, this is a number that a lot of businesses do not think about. This is really important. This is really your return on your investment. And these profits, these are the raw numbers based on a weekly basis. I like to work, I think, in weeks when I run my business. But at the end of the day, the months and the annual income is really what matters. So you'll see these columns over here, monthly and annual. And then also the revenue, the amount of money that you actually have coming in before expenses. So this revenue column here, right here, D27, F27, and G27. These numbers are very important as well. So let's talk about where you're going to actually fill things in. So go back up to the top of the spreadsheet. And first of all, this is not an actual accounting sheet. This is for your personal records only. If you need an accounting spreadsheet, you definitely should consult an accountant. And again, be sure to go back and listen to the Better Than Success podcast episode number 21. So the tan cells are where you are going to fill in your information. This blue cell, you can fill it in absolutely last. So let's go through this. So the first thing is you want to think about your salary. We talked about vision, and we talked about if the world were yours, what is the amount of money that you want to make when this thing is all said and done? Your salary, because at the end of the day, it's really all about you. I mean, it's about everything else, but it's about your team, all this other stuff. But we need to make sure that you are compensated for coming up with this idea and putting in all this hard work in, right? So your salary, how much money do you want to make on an annual basis? All you have to do is fill this cell in, and all the other cells will pre-populate themselves. And it'll calculate what you're going to make monthly. After taxes, I usually just say 33% withholdings on a monthly basis and then on an annual basis. So now we're going to start talking about your team members. So how much do you think that your key personnel, the key people that you're going to need in your team, how much are they going to be making? So I just filled in some random numbers here, 75,000, 40,000, 40,000, whatever. I literally threw in random numbers. Your salary can be $10 million. If the day is yours, I definitely suggest that you dream big. Dream big or go home, right? You know my saying is scale up or sit down. So, and then all the other salaries combined, I just, I'm imagining this may be a small team, but you may have a huge team, or your dreams may be to have hundreds of employees. So calculate all that in here. The next thing that you're going to need to figure out on a monthly basis, I use monthly because it's a lot easier on a monthly basis, is your rent, equipment, and your utilities. So you need to figure out what that's going to cost, your rent, equipment, and utilities, and then all your other fixed expenses and miscellaneous. Every business is going to be different. So you may need to open up another spreadsheet and calculate this part out, but I don't know what your business involves. So you need to think about that. And then your cost of goods sold. How much is it going to cost to make the products that you're selling? So this item, if you have an information-based system, it may be close to zero. I have no idea, but these are things that you need to calculate and you need to get really, really, really familiar with. And then once you calculate all this, then you can back into the amount of revenue that you're going to need to cover it. So let's take this out and we're going to figure this out. So now you see, this is what all of your total expenses are. Your expenses are. So you've got a lot of revenue on a monthly basis that you need to cover. So I put this $80,000 in here on a monthly basis just to see that this is what you need to cover. So you need to calculate how many products do you need to sell in order to cover these expenses that you're going to have, these rent and utilities. And then the numbers that you may need to play with is the projected revenue, and go back with cost of goods sold. Make sure that these numbers balance out. Make sure that these two numbers balance out. It's really, really, really important. And then after you're done all of that, now you have a really nice spreadsheet. The other thing that you also might want to play with is to make sure that the business is making money, that there's a profit for the business, not a profit for you, because remember, your salary is up here, but your profit for you. Make sure that the business is actually making money. So down here is the projected profits for the business. And then your profit margin. This is really important. This is what people look at when they're looking to buy your business. Now, if you wake up tomorrow and the day is yours, this is your vision day, your day of vision. Trust me, you want to have a business that's attractive enough for people to buy. So this profit margin number is really, really, really extremely important. It's really important. So this is how you use a spreadsheet. I know it may seem like it's not a lot, but it took me a long time to come up with this, and I guarantee you won't get something this easy anywhere else to help you to figure out if your vision is viable or not. Play around with this thing. Come up with a nice area that you feel comfortable with, something that makes sense. Now, your projected revenue may be so far off from what you have right now, but that's totally okay. It'll give you a blueprint to figure out what your goals need to be and where you need to be working towards. So what I want you to do is use this spreadsheet and become uber successful and go on and make a ton of money. Use this spreadsheet over and over and over again in your different businesses and your different business ideas. You may come up with an idea, use this spreadsheet and say, hey, this is not even viable. This is why no one's in the business of making decorative remote controls, because it's not viable. So, okay, out of my head with that idea. You're enterprising, you're an entrepreneur, you come up with ideas all the time. So let's be responsible and make sure that these ideas can actually make you some money and turn a profit over in the business. So until next time, you guys, happy entrepreneuring.